You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Welcome to another episode of Go Time Dolphins. As always, an absolute pleasure to be here, especially when we talk draft content because the draft is fastly approaching. I've already booked night one of day two of the draft because of UK timing, all that kind of stuff. But to delve into the combine and everything related to the combine which we just had, as always, I'm joined by Mr. Charlie Touche. Charlie, tell everyone what time it is.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise. What's the word, Kadeem?
I think it's only right we start on the day of recording to shout out friend of the podcast, Javon Holland. Happy birthday. Turns 25 on the 3rd of March. So, yeah, just from everyone over here at Go Time Dolphins, happy birthday to Javon Holland. It's insane seeing that he was born in the year 2000. Like, insane. Absolutely insane to me. Especially as I'm an 80s baby. So, yeah.
Bro,
shout out to friend of the podcast.
Didn't Oos have a birthday?
Yeah, Tua's birthday was on Sunday, I believe, which is not controversial, but what was controversial was photos of him playing chess and some of the people that he was with over the weekend, which this isn't a politics podcast. We won't get into politics of it all, but yeah, shout out to Oos as well. Happy birthday to turned 27 on March the 2nd.
You play chess, Kadeem?
We discussed this. Yeah, I play chess. I haven't played chess in ages. But yeah, I dabble in chess. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'll beat anyone. I know how to play the game, so yeah.
Hey, anybody want to smoke on the board? Holla at me on chess.com. Charlie Checkmate.
Don't you play was it 3-sided chess?
4-player chess. So they don't have that. That's called intense chess. They don't have that on chess.com, but we do play 4-player chess. I got the board right here.
I think that's so. That's the thing. Like me and you are so different. You have the chessboard. I've got the PS5 control. It's just the opposite ends of the spectrum. One's a hardcore gamer, and one is thinking. The thinking man's game. There we go. For everyone not watching on YouTube, that was Charlie Touche shaking his chess and checkers board. Before we delve into the draft stuff, Charlie, you felt sick a few days ago. How are you feeling now?
I felt sick a few days ago?
Yeah, you messaged in our group chat that you felt sick.
Oh, I was sick of a report. All right, I got sick to my stomach when I seen Deebo Samuel get traded for a 5th.
Yeah, what'd you make of that? Because I know we discussed Deebo potentially coming to Miami, and it's kind of like for the right price. And he moves to the Commanders for a 5th round pick. I think they're taking on basically his $17 million contract for the year. So, what do you make of Deebo not reuniting with McDaniel in Miami?
Nah, so yeah, the right price is a 5th for sure. I think the reports were they wanted a 1st. I'm sorry, super sorry. They wanted a 4th, but they got a 5th for him. And I think he had $23 million worth, $23 million left on his contract, 17 base salary. And we were under the impression that whatever team took on Deebo would probably redo his contract. So it's not just going to be a rental for 1 year for $20 million. And I'm okay with that because he don't have guaranteed money now. So in order to get guaranteed money, you got to rework the contract. So if you're going to give a fifth to rework the contract, I'm all for it. So yeah, you're not going to get 20 M's this year. You're Debo, you're injured. You know what I'm saying? Still a dude, but yeah, I would have gave that fifth and reworked the contract, put a couple years on it, and gave him some guaranteed money, but it would have been for the right price. So we'll see what that contract ends up being by the time the season starts and what Washington reworked it to be. But I imagine I would have wanted it like whenever it happens, whenever it comes out.
Yeah, it's interesting because I kind of earmarked Washington as a destination for Tyreek Hill. They was obviously going to go and get Jaden Daniels some weapons, some receivers, this off season, and I thought Tyreek Hill, he's still a wide receiver one in the league. He's got that speed. I thought, and as you can see by the Debo trade, Washington have the money. So if there was anyone who could take Hill's contract, it could be Washington or would have been Washington. But I do think it's interesting that, seeing Debo get moved for a fifth, for all the Dolphin fans who thought that Hill was going to go for like a first or a second, it's like, this isn't Madden. That isn't going to happen. And do you think Debo for fifth kind of sets the market in terms of what the Dolphins could get if they do move on from Tyreek Hill this offseason?
Nah, I think it's been like that. This has been when a player gets traded, this has been, you're always shocked at what they got traded for. Like, that's it. We could have did that. Everyone says that. You know what I'm saying? So when initially on this podcast was like, yo, don't be surprised if we only get a 2 for Tyreek. No one's gonna want that. You know what I'm saying? Now, what we have in our favor is the fact that you got teams like the Chargers that have a late 1. You might be able to work out a late 1 out of somebody, but anything more, like, you're not, bro. You got them for what? A 1, 2, and a 4 or something like that. What do we give up? A late 1.
Let's double check. Tyreek Hill, Wikipedia, 5th round draft pick, NFL career.
You should look up a Tyreek trade.
Yeah, like Wikipedia will have all that kind of nonsense. For a first, oh wow, 2022 first, 2022 second, 2 4th round picks, and a 2023 6th round pick.
All right. So a first, a second, and 2 4ths, right?
And a 6th, yeah.
The
following, yeah.
6 is whatever. At the same time, you drove the car off the lot. The price goes down. You drove the car off the lot. So how much? 3 years ago, by the way, you drove this car off the lot. How many miles you put on this car? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the value is going to come down. And even if it comes down, like, what do you think you're going to get for this car now? A 1 or 2, and that's it, or 2 4ths? What you got to meet somewhere in the middle here. So I can see a team. I can see, and I know a lot of people don't like Greer, but I can see Greer working a first for Tyreek, a 1st and a 4th. I could really, really see that. But to think you're gonna get 2 seconds and a 3rd, or a 1st, a 2nd, and a 4th, like, it's not gonna happen. And then you got to pay this receiver. So, I am still of the belief, though, that he is not a Miami Dolphin come week 1. So we're gonna see how that works. Can't wait to see how that works. There's reports about DK Metcalf too. I think Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay is interested in DK, and Seattle. Here's the thing about trades. Teams. So Seattle wants. Let's just go to what Seattle wants instead of speculation.
I think it's like a 1st round pick, and also like a young receiver.
Player. A young receiver is like something crazy. They said something crazy. According to Corbin Smith, NFL, the Packers and Seahawks have discussed a deal for a star receiver, DK Metcalf. The Packers would include a high pick and a young receiver. What is a high pick? What is a young receiver? Now, that price is not for all 31 teams in the NFL. It's not. They can say that to Green Bay because Green Bay has like 7 young wide receivers over there. You know what I'm saying? Now, the same way the Dolphins had a ton of picks, and when we were trying to maneuver in the draft, people would be like, oh, well, we want this because you have it. So, yeah, they could ask for it because you have it. So, DK Metcalf, don't assume if the Dolphins had talks with Seattle that this would be the same price, a first and a young receiver. Like, that's not how it works. So I'm still interested in DK. DK, now we're getting into more Madden type of trades. Debo was readily accessible. We could reach out and touch Debo. There was a pipeline for Debo. But DK, now we're talking about, well, let's go get this person. Well, let's go get that person. More unrealistic things. But I do kind of wonder. Now you might be talking about a receiver in the draft for the Dolphins. If I do believe Tyreek is moving on, you wonder what that looks like for the Dolphins, the receiving room. If there's no Debo, there's no moves made before the draft. This could get very interesting, Kadeem. Not in a good way.
So you mentioned the draft. We just had the 2025 NFL Combine, and I guess a good place to start would be the receivers. Was there anyone that made you kind of stop and go, that's interesting? He could be a option in, I say any round in the draft. Is there anyone who you're like, hey, okay, the Dolphins weren't going to go receiver in the first 3 to 4 rounds. They might need to for player X. You're on mute.
I didn't say anything. Just thinking. So I gave y'all the name Xavier Williams last time. 2'24", Xavier Williams. 6'5", 225. The knock on Xavier Williams is he was a quarterback and converted to receiver. So he's not like a natural receiver that has the beast mode mentality, go up, get the ball's in the air, this is my ball at 6'5". He is more of a converted quarterback to receiver. So how high are you willing to spend on someone who is still fitting into the position? I said I don't remember what I said on the last podcast about not loving receivers or liking receivers, but I still don't like much going on in this receiving draft. Like I don't see anybody, Kadeem, at receiver that the Dolphins have to go get. I don't see nobody. Now, there is Emeka Mbuka from Ohio State. That's not a mid-round pick. He's going to be a first-round pick. So if you're going to go get Emeka Mbuka, you're going to have to get him from 17 to 27. He's going to go around there. He fits the blue chip character, Kadeem. Blue chip character over blue chip talent, bro. And he is a blue chip talent too. You know, Ohio State is almost wide receiver U nowadays. And I can see Emeka Mbuka, but he wouldn't be like the traditional, you know how Dez Bryant was the X. Like, nah, bro. Everyone understands Dez Bryant is an X. Everyone understands that Justin Jefferson is a dude. Everyone understands that Jamar Chase has to get attention. Emeka Mbuka is not none of them players. He now not saying he can't be a really good number one in the league, because he can, but we would have to start spreading this ball out a little bit. There would be no more Tyreek would had to get 13 targets, and Mbuka has to get 13 targets. It wouldn't be like that. It'll be go get open and let the quarterback find you. So if that's what we're moving towards, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's one name who I think stood out for a lot of people was Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. No, you're looking at him, 6'4", ran a 4.47 40-yard dash, but 39-inch vertical, and it's if the Dolphins want to get big at receiver, then to me, 6'4", 214 pounds is kind of like a good place to start. And he's not someone who's probably going to go in the first 3 rounds. Like Jaden Higgins could be there in the 3rd round. So again, so much depends on what you're doing for the agency. So much depends on the way the draft falls. But Jaden Higgins for me would be someone who gives you some much needed height in the wide receiver room, and had a good combine of people like, okay, top 100 pick, which if the Dolphins took a, like I said, the 3rd round, even a comp pick on a 6'4" wide receiver, I wouldn't necessarily hate it at all.
How you feel about running back?
Running back, again, running back so much depends on the build, if that makes sense. I think a conversation I have with Lee quite a lot, and Lee's had it for years on this podcast, on the, if Lee's talking running backs, especially this year, he's talking Naji Harris. I'll be honest, running backs wasn't something which I really paid that much attention to. There's a lot of fast dudes, but I feel like the Dolphins don't need fast dudes. They need power backs. They need guys who, if the offensive line on a particular play, particular snap gets no push, they need someone who can, rush for 1 or 2 yards. I think the Dolphins led the league in stuffed on negative ones at 28%, which is an awful stat to lead the league in. And, a lot of that will come down to the O-line. And this isn't me knocking the running back, sorry, but a lot of that will come down to as well. You don't have big power backs who they might get, tackled in the backfield, but get off me, brush them off, get back to line of scrimmage, and then stumble forward for 1 or 2 yards. There's no one really in the Dolphins running back room that can do that. So just go and get me a power back. All these guys was I think so 14 running backs ran done something amazing this year, basically. And for me, I was like, just give me a big dude.
So I don't think the Dolphins are gonna go big dude shopping, to put in your words. I think they have 2 running backs that they like, and I think one of the running backs that they're gonna have is gonna be a bigger guy. But I don't think it's like, hey, we need to offset. We need a couple big guys. I don't think they're gonna bring in 2 type of Chris Brooks type of players. Mike McDaniel, Coach McDaniel. Listen, I like Coach, bro. I just want you to do better, be better. I like a lot of people on the Dolphins. Just be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I love Tua. Just be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I got my Tua sweater on right now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tua. I didn't even know dog was a chess player. I would love to roll with him, do some jujitsu with my dog, choke him out a little bit, and then beat him down in chess too. You feel me? That's my dog. Dog, Mike McDaniel, bro, was at the combine. I need you to get this picture ready, kid. You know, I call Mike McDaniel Michael McHoodie, bro. And dude,
I've never heard you call him that before, ever.
You never heard.
I've never heard you call him that before.
Okay, so Michael McHoodie, bro, was at the combine, and I don't know what type of fashion statement this is, bro. Dog is on some Kanye stuff right now. You know, the haircut going, he got the flow going. Kadeem, the zipper on, or whatever this thing is, I don't even know if it's a sweater. I don't know if it's you know those like seances and rituals people be doing, like they look crazy in movies and they be wearing these hoods or gowns or something. This is what this looks like. He looks like a villain. Bro, look, is that a real zipper, Kadeem? Like if you zip that thing up, it looked like it's for like someone that's 6'7", not 5'7".
It looks like one of the bathing ape hoodies. I don't know if you ever remember them. It's like it was zip up right to the top, have like a face on it. That's what it reminds me of. I had quite a few of those because Pharrell, bathing ape. But yeah, literally, you would chuck the hood up and then zip it up straight to the thing. Right. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Also, I'm legit not just saying this. I've got like a similar hoodie to that, but it's like oversized basically. Next podcast I'll wear it. because it's just big and the zip kind of comes up to here. But when the hood goes up, I look like a Sith Lord. It's just big and puffy. And again, it reminds me of that.
Bro, the man looked like he wearing a Snuggie. It's wild. But back to running back. Yo, there's this running back, I think Bashal Tootin ran a 4.3. Not a bigger guy, 5'9", 200 pounds, but he's a kick returner. The Mike McDaniel wants a kick returner. Now, I'm not saying he wants a kick returner at running back, but at some point, I always thought in the McDaniel offense that the same way everybody thought we'll have a tight end involved and we'll have a Debo type of player. We'll have a better running game because of McDaniel. We'll have a lot of yards at the catch because of McDaniel. I always thought we were going to have a dope kick returner. He's big on kick returners, had everything to say about Devin Hester and Hall of Famer Devin Hester, by the way, and how it changed the Chicago Bears. You know what I'm saying? And how basically Hester got them boys to the Super Bowl. Bashal Tootin, bro, is a dope little running back. I don't want to say he's undersized, but he has some speed. He can be the designated. We don't have to worry about a returner no more. We had times where we had Tyreek at punt return, had friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, just catching punts. He wasn't even returning punts. He was just back there to catch them. We had Braxton Berrios returning punts. How did that work out? We had starting running back Devon Achane returning kicks with who's no longer on the team, Raheem Mostert returning kicks. Expect the Dolphins to bring in a kick returner. And I don't know how much they will prioritize a kick returner, but you can really change some things up on the field if you get some really good field position. And Bashal Tootin will fit multiple needs because he can catch the ball. He can he's a running back that you need depth at, and he could be a kick returner.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, running back is probably one. I'll ask you quickly. What do you think the odds or the chances are? Would you go and get Naji Harris in free agency?
That I will go get Naji Harris, or that the Dolphins will go get Naji Harris? Because the chances of me going to get Naji Harris is nil. Like y'all say across the pond. Like it's not happening. There's no reason for me to go get Naji Harris. I have no desire to bring Naji Harris to this team for over $3 million a year for him to get 20, not even 20 attempts and not even 20 yards in one game. Like I have no desire for that. Like, I'm good on Naji Harris.
Hasn't he got 1,000 yards every season he's been in the NFL?
Not only has Naji Harris gotten 1,000 yards in every season he's played in the NFL, Alvin Kamara has never had 1,000-yard season.
It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Bro, it's the wildest. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? So for all of our fantasy footballers who know the feeling of having Naji Harris on their fantasy football team and just taking up a roster spot for seemingly 2 good games of fantasy football a year, Naji Harris has had over 1,000 yards every season he's played in the NFL. But I don't believe he fits that big back role of that the Miami Dolphins need. I don't think he's and you said a stat about short yardage runs. I think the Dolphins were also in the bottom 3 or 4 teams in the NFL on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. Like we can't get we can't do nothing on 4th and 1, 4th and goal, 3rd and goal. Like we can't do nothing. I don't think he fits that though. I don't think Naji is the answer to that. I don't think it's 3rd and 1 on our own 40 on a negative 40 and we need a big 4th and 1 play. You feel good about Naji Harris taking this 3rd and 1, 4th and 1?
I feel better than the guys we have in the building at the moment, but I'm not going to say I haven't put my PlayStation 5 on it. So
right,
I guess
so
that kind of starts.
Like I ain't gonna lie, I would have felt really good about Chris Brooks. Yeah, like I would have felt. And let's talk about Chris Brooks for a second. Chris Brooks was an undrafted running back. Brought him into Miami, looked great. Looked really good. Maybe not great, really good in preseason. And we were like, yo, we We think we struck gold. Kader Kohu, undrafted. Preston Williams, undrafted. You know what I'm saying? And here goes Chris Brooks, undrafted. And then he even got some run in some regular season games and went off for like 70 yards on 5 attempts. Like, oh, we got something with Chris Brooks. Here's the thing about Chris Brooks. The Dolphins let him go. He got injured, and the Dolphins let him walk. And if you can, Kadeem, if you could pull up a picture, if you could look for a picture so we could pull it up about the Miami Dolphins report card, how we were the top-notch football team in the NFL when it comes to everything, training and cooking and coaching staff and whatever the report card that we just had that we were number one in. If you could pull that up, I appreciate you. But Chris Brooks being let go because he got hurt and he was undrafted, and we decided to go with Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr.'s of the world. Here's what I will say about the Miami Dolphins. There is a loyalty factor that the Dolphins have for players, and I really do appreciate that aspect of the Miami Dolphins. For example, friend of the podcast, 40 Acres and a Hellcat, Myles Gaskin, was on the team, and when the team was what did we go, Kadeem? 5-11? What was that 5-1 season with Flores? Do you remember?
It would have been 5-11 with 5-11, 5-12, yeah.
Something like that. We had 5 wins, and friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, was on that team. When this team was in disarray, had Flores and no kind of structure, friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, was a captain on this team, like the captain without the captain patch. What was the phrase that they said? He was the epitome of a Miami Dolphin. Epitome of a Miami Dolphin. Everyone knows Myles Gaskin wasn't the best running back in the league. Everyone knows that. But he was a Miami Dolphin through and through. So for the fact that the Dolphins let him play out his contract of a 6th-round pick, 7th-round pick, and ended up cashing out a couple $1 million at the end of that last season, maybe the Dolphins didn't have to keep Myles Gaskin on the roster for the last season of his contract and could have let him walk. That's not loyalty, though. They kept him. We had better running backs than him. He ended up not dressing for a lot of the games, but he still got the cash out on that $3 or $4 million of his rookie contract. And I appreciated the Dolphins for doing that. And they've done that multiple times in certain positions where they could afford it to happen, where you're like, yo, you're the 4th running back on the roster. It's not like they kept him around as the RB1 and wanted to take care of him financially, right? But that's the same thing what I'm about to say with Jeff Wilson Jr. There's relationships where it's like, yo, they kind of took care of Jeff Wilson Jr. They don't even run him much. He didn't get many carries, many touches, but it was like there was a respect factor there and a relationship thing where they wanted to take care of Jeff Wilson Jr. for whatever reason. I don't think Jeff Wilson Jr. was Myles Gaskin as a Miami Dolphin, but they took care of Jeff Wilson Jr. and decided to part ways with Chris Brooks. And I guarantee that was the wrong decision, because Chris Brooks looked really good when he was running against us in Green Bay. So, and we need a Chris Brooks type of player. But my question to you, Kadeem, is the Dolphins had this report card come out, and this is, I believe we were the best franchise in the NFL last year as well. My question to you, Kadeem, to have, and if you could pull up this pic, if you got it. The Dolphins had a report card of the best report card in NFL. A+ at coach, A+ at owner, A+ with food, A+ at travel, A+ weight room, and an A in treatment of family. My question to you, Kadeem, is, does this mean anything, and does it count for something? Like, what does this mean? Are you, as a Dolphin fan and a Dolphin supporter, are you happy with this? Are you proud of this? Do you not care about it? Like, does it mean anything at all? Does it mean everything? Does it mean nothing? I need to know your opinion.
It's a weird one. I don't get angry. Like, there's a lot of Dolphin fans that's like, oh, well, the Dolphins have all of these A's but can't win anything and all that kind of stuff. And I don't get angry over stuff like that. I'm trying to find, where did Philadelphia finish up? 22nd. A- coach, Let me look at my phone because it's so much easier. Yeah, A minus coach, B owner, A minus food, but F for travel. It's one of those things where I guess ultimately it doesn't bother me. It's nice that the owner has looked after the team. And again, for everyone who doesn't like Stephen Ross and you're entitled to that opinion, I feel like he can never be accused of not trying to put a winning product together. He has dipped into his own pocket. Yes, he's got a lot of money in those pockets, but he has tried to put a winning product on the field and it has failed. And if we're being brutally honest, of the 31 other teams in the NFL, realistically, only really the Chiefs and obviously the Eagles, because they just won a Super Bowl, can say that they've been able to get a winning product on the field. Buffalo, for all the AFC championships that they've won, and that's great, that's brilliant, they haven't been to a Super Bowl. So really and truly, Buffalo are 23rd on this. They're one spot below Philadelphia, but Philadelphia have a ring. So it's great. It looks nice. It means, to me anyway, it means the owner has tried to do what's best for the team. It hasn't resulted in any rings. That's unfortunate. But ultimately, I'm not going to lose sleep and get angry and jump in Twitter spaces and get all angry when, nah, not for me.
So for context, Buffalo's 23rd on this list. Just some highlights. The Chargers are at 5, Dallas is at 10, Seattle's at 15, Giants at 20, Carolina at 25, Cleveland at 30. The last place team again is the Cardinals, or are the Cardinals. Buffalo's at 23, and they have a B at coach, B at owner, B minus at food, F minus F minus at travel, A in the weight room, and B plus of treatment of family. Kadeem, I ain't gonna lie to you. You said it's a weird one. I will see your weird one and raise that. I don't know how to feel about this either. But I have to say, it has to mean something, bro. Because if the Dolphins were putting out the product that they're putting out on the field right now and disappointing us as fans when it comes to our lack thereof achievements or accomplishments on the field, and was a bottom tier team like the Paper Planes at 29 with a F in owner and C minus and C pluses and all these C's, and it was just not respected around the league amongst their peers, it would be even worse. So it has to mean at least something that we're doing something right. Because the flip side is the Miami Heat is well renowned as one of the best franchises in sports. Like, it means something. And yeah, we have hardware to back it up if you're a Heat fan, but the Heat culture is a real thing. So the fact that the Dolphins have created some type of a culture that is being recognized amongst their peers has to mean something. I know we don't get any prizes for this. We don't feel good about, oh, well, we're the best team in the NFL in this area. Like, I know that doesn't happen, but a culture is started somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So if you're winning games now, if you bring in home championships and this is your culture, you're going to have people who want to play for you. So it has to mean something, but it doesn't mean nowhere close to everything. I just don't think it's nothing at all. So it is a weird one, bro. So I did want to bring that up because I think people dismiss it, and then I think people look too into it. I'm like, I don't know, but it has to mean something, bro.
I think, I keep on saying to so many fans across different sports, if you're a player or athlete in a sport, it is a job to you, and you want to go, you don't want to go to you don't want to go to work and the facilities are failing, and if you're going on a work trip, the coach has broken down. I think I don't know what team it is. One of these teams is like an F or minus F, where it's like when they travel, the travel has ashtrays but no Wi-Fi. It's like that's insane. Like I can't smoke. You can't smoke on when traveling. So why is there an ashtray next to me, but I can't watch YouTube on my phone? It's stupid. So yeah, it's like I said, people can be angry, people can vent their frustration, and when you see stuff like this, and the Dolphins are top of all these, categories that, like you said, it doesn't bring home a first round pick. It doesn't bring home it doesn't bring home anything, but you kind of feel good. To me, it's something to celebrate, something to enjoy. And if you want to take this and be super negative, and like I said, jump on Twitter and complain, to me that says more about you as a human being than it does. Just like try and find some joy in something the Dolphins do. And if you really don't want to, then as there are people out there who have been Dolphins fans for 30 years and now support the Denver Broncos, go. Like, I have no time for you, so it is what it is.
Off the top rope, shout out to Kadeem. Like Kadeem tried to slide that in there. I'm not gonna let him slide it in there. Like, I'm not no Diddy. I'm not gonna let him just sneak that one in, bro. Like, listen, there is an affiliate, or maybe former affiliate, of Go Time Dolphins. I don't know if it's a former affiliate or an affiliate of Go Time Dolphins that used to support the Miami Dolphins, was a Dolphin fan that is no longer a Dolphin fan and is a Broncos fans now and support the Broncos. Hey, you're free to do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If the Broncos are your team now, the Broncos are your team. Are your team now? You're a Broncos fan now. That's cool. I don't know how that works. I never woke up one morning and said, I'm getting rid of all of my Dolphin stuff and I'm buying Broncos stuff. I don't know how it works. You know what I'm saying? With no family member a part of the franchise. You know what I'm saying? Because if my brother was drafted by the Giants, I would be a Giants fan. And I ain't gonna lie, I might not even be a Giants fan first. It might be a Dolphins and the Giants. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know how that works to just say I'm done with the Dolphins. Take my helmets. I'm taking my helmets. I'm out of here. And swapping them out for Bronco helmets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how that works. So, hey, y'all are free to do what you want to do. You are free to fan for who you want to fan for. But I think that's a wild one to me, to just switch up and then get mad when players quit on the team because you quit on the team too.
Absolutely insane. Quick one from me before we jump into bonus time. Mason Taylor, son of Miami Dolphins legend Jason Taylor, has a great combine. And people are now saying he's a conversation to be taken in the first round. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Mason Taylor is not a first round pick, but he is a legitimate top 4 tight end in this NFL draft. I had him around late second round, and because of how deep the draft is in other positions, he could have been a third round pick. You know what I'm saying? But there is a legitimate chance that the Dolphins bring in Mason Taylor. And one, he fits a need, and it would not be one of the, you guys just trying to, you're not worried about winning. You just want to do stuff for this and that. You want to have the best report card, but you don't want to win games. You want to bring in sons of former Dolphin players, but you don't want to win games. It wouldn't even be that. It'll be, nah, bro. He's one of the best tight ends in the draft. He fits a need. He fits the scheme. He will replace Jonnu Smith. So if everybody want to go 13 and grab the tight end from Penn State, but
Tyler
y'all
Warren.
get mad. But get mad if the Dolphins grab Mason Taylor in the third round. That's funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? You feel me? So, nah, man. Mason Taylor is legit. He's not a first round pick though. So yeah, if everyone is upset if the Dolphins go Mason Taylor in the first round, I'll be upset with you.
I had a conversation with 5 Yard Lee when I was on the way back from Manchester, and we spoke about it on the combine preview. And I said, if you have a player, it doesn't matter who the player is, and him doing athletics in their underwear makes them skyrocket to the first round, and you didn't have a first round grade on them, then you're doing the combine and the NFL scouting process entirely wrong. And that's not a knock on, Mason Taylor or anyone else. To me, it always should be a case of they have a great combine, which is something they've worked on for the last 3 months. The whole, to make sure it's absolutely perfect. Go back and watch the tape, and if you go back and watch the tape and go, he's actually a first round pick, then I've also got a question again. It's like, how did you not see it the first time? If you genuinely thought Mason Taylor was a first round pick and then watch a combine and that secured it for you, at least you're sticking by your convictions. But yeah, Mason Taylor as a first round pick, no. But I do think his combine may have meant, like what you said, he's gone from a day 3 pick, a third round pick to a second round pick. And for the Dolphins, it's like, would have loved to have taken him in the third round. We may need to grab him in the second round. And it's a great story. Second round pick. Listen, if he comes in and starts, or if he comes in and produces, no one's going to care. But like you said, if he comes in and it doesn't go well, it's more ammo for the fire Chris Greer, give it this organization, or give it of everyone in the organization training. Yeah.
Listen. Mason Taylor is a Dolphin in the first or second round. I don't like it. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I like him. You know what I'm saying? I like him. I like the story. I like all of it. But he's not I don't want to say he's not a second round pick, but for the Dolphins to have the needs that we have to go tight end Mason Taylor in the second round, I can't get there with you. I would even go as far to say, what's the tight end from Michigan? What's this dude's name? Loveland. Let me find him. I got you.
Colston Loveland.
If Colston Loveland is in the second round and the Dolphins went Colston Loveland in the second round, that's different. I'll be happy with that. You know what I'm saying? But Mason Taylor is not Colston Loveland. You know what I'm saying? Colston Loveland could go top 18, top 20 in the draft overall. So we're talking about value. Yeah, man, I'm not here for love stories. I'm here for championships.
Agreed.
Something we haven't had in a long time.
Yeah, painful.
Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
I don't know if you saw it. Colin the Clown's interview with Teron Armstead over the last few days. You had a chance to see it, or?
No, I haven't. But Armstead just has some contract work done. So this is pretty telling, but go ahead.
He a few interesting things he said. He spoke about, Tua's injury history and kind of blocking for Tua kind of makes him a bit more anxious, and listen, you're always anxious when blocking for anyone because you don't see that person get hurt. But the extent of Tua's injury history, he kind of spoke about that. But there's a situation, or there's a question from Colin the Clown, which kind of went viral because Colin asked Teron, if a team calls you and says, hey, come and it says if a good team calls you and says, hey, come here and play for 2 years and then hang it up, would you go? And Armstead's like, I'm a Dolphin. And then Colin's like, yeah, but if a team calls you and he's like, I'm a Dolphin, and then Colin, Teron doesn't even hesitate, but he takes his time to say something. And Colin tries to spin it, it's like, oh, you're hesitating, and Tyrion's like, no, and it's like it's so obvious that one or two things happened. Colin the Clown didn't do his homework and didn't realize that Armstead is still a Dolphin, or Colin the Clown disrespected the Dolphins so much. With like, if a good team called you, and Armstead's like, no, I'm on a good team, I'm with the Dolphins. So you haven't seen the clip, but without seeing it, it's one of the things that's like had to happen to Colin the Clown because that's who he is.
The Clown, that's why we call him Colin the Clown. For those who don't know, we're talking about Colin Cowherd. So it does look like Armstead is headed towards retirement. And you can see how some people might think he just retired and this was his last season of playing football and he's no longer in football, but he hasn't retired yet and he's a Miami Dolphin. And it does look like either this season is going to be his last season playing football or he's done playing football as of now. Either way, like Kadeem just said, he's a Dolphin. So shout out to Ron for like putting dog in check like that. But as far as being anxious when blocking, that's not good, bro. That's not how you want to play football. You know what I'm saying? It's not where you want to be as a teammate, as a person, as a player, just in my own position. Like, you can't. And I would be curious to know if that became his feelings this past season, or was that there prior to Tua having a season where he played every single game? You know what I'm saying? Because I think for me, bro, I didn't believe the concussions were going to come back the season that just passed. I genuinely believe, bro, you're not supposed to hit the back of your head on the ground. And look what happens, right? So I thought, like, yo, I think we're going to be good with the concussions. He gets hit standing up, he doesn't get a concussion. So and then he had the entire season without he played the entire season. It was 67 different quarterbacks started in the NFL, and Tua played every single game that season. That 67 different starters played in the NFL. So I was cool with Tua and his durability, or some would say the lack thereof, or his durability concerns, I should say. So I was cool there. So I really do wonder when Tyron was like, all right, nah, man, I can't even allow a pressure. I can't even let my quarterback get touched. So I do wonder when that became a thing for him. And then, you're going to have funny people that, oh, it's always been there. He's probably always thought that since he was drafted. Like, I don't believe that, because if that was the case, how do you go an entire season without missing a snap?
Yeah. Quickly before we go, what do you think Armstead will be a Miami Dolphin when week one starts, given that he has, and I think even McDaniel or someone said, it might be, probably was rap sheet, Armstead has reduced his NFL contract to the base minimum as he works out what to do. That's it. And then McDaniel said the Dolphins are planning like Armstead won't be here, but they're still gonna have the conversation and stuff.
I think the only reason you do that, reduce your contract like that, is because you're on the way out and you're doing the franchise a favor. That's how I see it. That's how I got it, and that's probably why people think he retired. But I think Armstead, like, y'all kind of took care of me, and I didn't deliver when I came here a couple years ago, and I haven't been available. I would do y'all a solid. Since I'm walking away anyway, it's not like I could take this money with me. So yeah, I would do y'all a solid. So I think Armstead is not a Dolphin either.
Yeah, same. I think it's it's a shame we didn't reach the heights we wanted to with Armstead. I guess that's football, but it's been fun, and I say that like it is done. I assume it is, and I guess when it is, we'll then work out, what to do. Whether Patrick Paul is the answer at left tackle, or the Dolphins go and get someone else. Shout out to Cliff D. He said Dolphins can count on Chris Greer to blow the draft. I really want to have an episode on Chris Greer draft history. because I really don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it out to be. But as we're about to close up, I don't think it's worth getting into that. Unless you want to add anything onto what Cliff D said.
We appreciate you, Cliff. Hit that like and subscribe for us. We appreciate all the Go Timers over here on GTD.
Cool. Until the next one, I'm going to go watch Monday Night Raw to work out what happened to John Cena. Charlie, if you haven't seen Elimination Chamber, what happened to John Cena, I highly recommend it. It's just all everyone is talking about. As a wrestling head, it is amazing. But until the next one, we shall see you soon. Peace.